Let's not take credit for our father's good deeds. What you're looking at is what the mainstream quackademia with its head hysterians calls the Roman Temple of Bacchus, one of the world's most magnificent structures ever, according to the mainstream, was erected to venerate the god of wine. It was a big party site, basically. Cool story, bro. This magnificent structure contains the world's largest known megalith ever used in any construction. It has very intricately carved bas reliefs, sculptures. I mean, the amount of ingenuity, the kind of technology, the type of skill, planning that it took to build this, according to the mainstream academia, something like 2,000 years ago, simply beggars belief. Now, a lot of people, myself included, believe the structure is much older and it ain't no temple. Anyway, at the site of that structure, those ruins, we also find these Roman inscriptions, right? Mostly, if not exclusively, on pieces of the temple that seem to have fallen from somewhere to the ground and have been stood upright once again. Have you ever had to write anything, like maybe make a sign or write something using a whole sheet of paper without much planning? You found that as you were making your little poster or sign or writing, you basically ran out of space and had to make your letters smaller by the time you got to the end of the page, right? Have you ever found yourself doing that? Well, this is exactly what happened here, isn't it? There's quite a bit of room. There's a nice little margin to the left on this column. And as you get closer to the end, whoever made this sloppy inscription has basically run out of space, right? The letters are all different sizes. Sometimes they're stretched out. Sometimes they're squeezed in. They're not uniform. It's not symmetric. It's ugly, right? This is ugly. There's another one of these Roman inscriptions, like this one, right? You see right here how they literally ran out of space and made the letters tiny, right? So basically, without any further ado, the Romans showed up at a structure that was probably already destroyed by something, and they took a piss on it and said, mine. Okay? That's what happened. Speaking of Romans, this is the often pictured in movies and paintings, drawings, Roman laurel wreath crown, okay? Signifying that, well, the people that wore them wanted to say, in my opinion, that not only that they're Roman, but that they're better than you, okay? This same wreath can be found on the Roman flag, where you'll also sometimes see, we'll call it an eagle for now. An eagle holding a bundle of sticks, sometimes a bundle of sticks and some arrows or thunder, lightning, so on and so forth, right? Like this one. The bundle of sticks that's called the fasces, along with the arrows or whatever you want to call them. Thorns, right? Or not thorns, but thunder. Sometimes the fasces will have an axe head, signifying that it's some kind of a weapon. And also, there it is, that there's strength in unity, right? There you go. The fasces. Okay, that's the Roman Empire for you. Now we have, let's go check out the fascists, right? Whether Italian or German, doesn't matter. They make the logo, if you will, because these are corporations, a little more geographically appropriate, and instead of laurel, they use oak leaves, right? But you still have the same bird holding this wreath, sometimes the fasces. This one, Amazon says it's a Roman symbol. Fine. Maybe it is, right? This is Italy during the Second World War. What do you see? You see the oak motif. Half of the laurel is oak, half of it is, half of the wreath is laurel, half of it is oak, right? Signifying what? Well, unity with these so-called German brothers. There is the SS, the Nazi SS with the eagle holding, or a bird holding the fasces. Do you think SS stands for Sovietsky Soyuz, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe. Or not only that, right? Speaking of Sovietsky Soyuz, this is the USSR emblem or insignia, iconography, right? Once again, made more geographically appropriate using wheat instead of oak or laurel, but it's the same thing. And you see the stalks of the wheat bound together, a bundle of sticks, the fasces, right? There's the world in the middle, surrounded by this symbol with a star, maybe, yeah, some kind of a star in the middle there as well, right? You'll see a similar thing happening with the Lithuanian Soviet Socialist Republic. Oh, and in case you didn't know, which I'm sure a lot of you did, the Nazis were a socialist party, just like the Bolsheviks in the USSR, right? Both socialist parties. Here you see the Lithuanian government basically mimicking the same logo, except this time uniting the wheat with oak leaves, right? Uniting what? Well, all these same people who have gained control of various world governments and have sold a certain idea to the people that they've subjugated, while at the same time communicating between themselves that, letting the people in the know, people who have their eyes open, that, this is one and the same, basically, right? And then to make this more modern for you, if you look at the UN, for example, right? It's the same wreath encircling the world, basically, right? Taking over the world. That's what the UN is, right? That's what USSR was. Hitler had the same imperialistic dreams of taking over the world, so on and so forth, right? And then we can even go to United States, another arm of the Roman Empire, with the same bird and the same position, holding the fasces, right? Somebody tried to tell me that, no, those are not the fasces, those are arrows. Well, go back to Roman times, and you'll see that they're interchangeable, basically, in their iconography. And then you have the Roman laurel wreath, right? And then you have the same circular design with the star in the middle. Just the fact that the whole logo is circular harkens back to the same sort of aesthetic is preserved, basically, right? So that's that. Third Reich was another version of the Holy Roman Empire, which is what Germany was throughout the years, basically, this so-called Germany. And I have called USSR, Russia, same thing. Byzantium in the past, right? When you look at their iconography, the double-headed eagle, perhaps signifying what? The East and the West Roman Empire united by one crown in the middle, right? Maybe the papacy, I'm not sure. But you see this double-headed eagle, basically united, two wings of the one empire, right? And this is the coat of arms of the Byzantine Empire, right? So modern-day Russia uses the same coat of arms as Byzantium. Why? Because it is Byzantium. It is just another part of the Roman Empire. And then you have the Roman salute, right? As in this painting, which had been used by Mussolini with the eagle on his hat, right? Bird. Hitler, but also Stalin, right? Stalin used the salute. They're a little bit more afraid to use that same salute today because, well, people just know what's up, but, you know, it'll happen. Well, there you go, right? Not only did they use the same salute, the same color red, which harkens back to Phoenicia, which means red or red people or something along those lines, right? Right? But apparently they also had the same graphic designer. Amazing, isn't it? Let's see if I could find. I seem to have lost. I'll find it real quick. World War II, Russian or Soviet propaganda posters and Nazi. There's an article that compares the posters that USSR and Nazis used. Google is hiding it from me. Nazi and Soviet propaganda shared aesthetic. Are they going to show us any pictures? Oh, well, there you go. There's that salute, right? Same color. I mean, this is the same poster, basically. There's another one. And another one. Right? There you have it. What's the difference, guys? The language? Right? Same thing. So it's interesting how the Roman Empire gets credit for the things it didn't do, but the things that it's doing to this day is somehow hidden. It's not being given credit for, right? Now, the Second World War was a lot of different things, and I don't mean to oversimplify the conflict, but one of the things that it was the Roman Empire's depopulation agenda for whom? The Slavic people of Europe. Because Germany, especially in that day, was mostly Slavic too. So that's what that was. Setting brother against another and having brothers exterminate one another by selling them a bill of goods, basically, while behind their backs laughing at how gullible and naive those people were to carry out the agenda of the same evil people steering them that have been doing that for at least 1,000 years, probably longer. Okay? The Second World War was a deep pop agenda by the Roman Empire of one specific people, and no, it wasn't the Jews. Unless they were the Aryan Jews. But that's a whole nother story, right? That's my video. And remember, try not to blame the son for his father's sins.